What's up, YouTube? So today I come to you with notes in hand and just a little idea, something to think about, something I've been thinking about. I know it seems a little morbid, to kind of, deal with your own mortality. What kind of an impact have you made? I know that's something that's kind of hard to sit and deal with, because I really have never met anyone who is like super excited about, what they've accomplished in their life. We always have this kind of picture in our head of who we are and who we're going to be, and then we go through our life, and then suddenly, looking back when more of it's behind us than in front of us, we're looking back going, dang, man, I was way off base. I didn't do anything remotely close to what I thought was going to happen. But that's really not the point, honestly. We have ideas and things change, and so you just kind of have to roll with it, because you're going to have to live through it anyway, so you might as well roll with it. But the idea that I have, because we've unfortunately suffered another loss in our family here recently, when I leave this life, when it's my turn to go, who will remember me? And, we think about our family and our close friends, and obviously they're going to remember us. But apart from that very small pool of people, is anyone else going to remember me? So then you start thinking, well, me. This wasn't you. You weren't there. Trying to take credit? Dang, girl. So when I was thinking about it, the thought I really had was, what does a person have to do to be memorable? What do you have to do? It can't just be actors. It can't just be politicians. It can't just be, people who are in the limelight. Everyone have to have, in my humble but accurate opinion, everyone has to have the ability to be a person of renown, be a person of memory. Well, how do you do that? Well, you make those memories with other people. You do things for other people that make you memorable. That's how you carry on after this life, in this world. A lot of us have done a lot of work through our life, and you don't want to see it all go to waste. You want to see your work carry on in some form or fashion, whether you were a business owner or you were creative or whatever it was, something that you wanted to see go on. Well, to have that happen, you have to create memories in the minds of other people. That's how your memory is perpetuated, is because you did something to someone else who is still living that remembers you. So what I wanted to do, because I don't think that it's feasible for the average human being to go out and do something that's going to get you on TV. And I'm not sure if that's how I would want to get famous anyway, because in my view of things, that's kind of your reward there. You should really want to do things not necessarily for the pat on the back or accolades, but you should want to do them because they need to be done. So, did I say that? Yeah, I said that. So anyway, I'm 6. 3 things that I think that a lot of us can do on a daily basis is that there are 3 different acts that we can perform for other people. It's acts of kindness, acts of compassion, and acts of humility. And so I'm going to spend just a second on each one of these and just kind of give you an idea of real world examples of what I'm talking about here. Because this, like most things, sounds like, oh, that is so, and then there's no application to it whatsoever, so off you go. And speaking of off I go, I'm off to go for some coffee here. I'm not addicted. You're addicted. Yeah, you are. Yeah. So acts of kindness. Now, this is something that is really, the idea of the random acts of kindness has been circulating around for a lot of years. It fell off the planet a long time ago, and it's not been back. And there's really no sign that it's coming back. So that's something that maybe we should start doing again. If we are concerned about our impact on the world, then these are the ways that we can make an impact on our world. Sometimes this guy is looking for a major solution to a major problem instead of looking for a solution that I myself can do. Something that I can do right now where I'm at with no change to my bank account or anything else like that. These are things that all of us can do simply by being human, simply by showing kindness to other human beings as we interact with them. Something as simple as letting them go first in line, or saying hello, or please and thank you. Do you know how rare I hear that? Now, I'm not a fast food guy. Everyone else I know is, and virtually everyone says the same thing. It's difficult to even get people you are giving money to say please and thank you. And, you're giving the money. So you would expect them to be, at least, courteous. But it doesn't really seem to be important anymore, because I think there's so many of us that aren't courteous either. So they don't give two craps whether the drive-through girl's rude, because they're rude. There's kind of like this snowball effect where it gets to the point to where, an act of kindness, a kind word, someone being polite, you're going to stand out literally like, a candle in the middle of the night, simply because it is such a rare occurrence. Again, if the goal is to be remembered, these are just one little idea. Just freaking be nice to people. When you're driving down the road, and someone's trying to merge in, get the F out of the lane. It's rude to start with, but get out of the lane, because you know what it's like. It's the idea of putting yourself in another person's shoes. Putting yourself, trying with whatever capability you have to the best of your ability, trying to understand what another person is experiencing and having compassion on them. Which brings us to the next point, an act of compassion. It is giving someone the benefit of the doubt. Showing compassion on someone has, in my mind, the idea of compassion is showing mercy on someone who doesn't necessarily deserve it. They don't deserve it. See, we think of compassion sometimes. We think of compassion as something that we have on someone who is in need. If we have someone who has any kind of disability, young, old, any kind of infirmity, we have compassion on those people. I don't really think that's what compassion really is implying. I think the idea of compassion is to show someone mercy when they don't really deserve it. See, everybody does good to people who are good to them. Everybody does that. The standout is when you do good to someone who is not good to you. And that's a hard thing for us to do as humans, because we feel like that we always have this a level of retribution that we're ready to dole out whenever someone says something smart to us, and we just freaking smart back, me included. I'm not definitely I definitely live in a glass house, let me just tell you that. But it's through these acts of compassion that I think what it also does is, in those acts, when we show them, and then we see the change that happens in that person. When someone comes at you, and I'm a person that gets people mad at me a lot, and because of what I do on my other channel, and it's all right, I don't care. I'm not mad at them because they're mad. A lot of times people are mad because of what's happening in their life. And if you ever have someone who is cross with you, and it seems to be for no fault of your own, maybe consider the times that you might have been cross with someone because your entire world had just fell apart. And then somebody says something to you, and you were just not in the right frame of mind, and so you snap. There can be a reason for bad behavior. It may not be okay that they did it, but if we understand that there may be a legitimate motivation behind the way that they're reacting, that we can show them some compassion, show them mercy when they really don't deserve it. They shouldn't have said it. But why do you, I'm violated. My rights, fuck that. Grow up, this is the human race. It doesn't matter whether you believe in evolution or whether you believe in creation. We are all the same family. We are brothers and sisters. And when we separate and divide ourselves out and then aren't willing to show compassion on another human being, to give them the benefit of the doubt, to listen to them when we don't agree with what they're saying, that's what compassion is. Compassion is something that we all have the opportunity to do, but it makes us take our natural inclination, which is to freaking take our natural inclination, which is to vehemently disagree with people, and you have to pull it back. You know, if you're going to interact in the world, and if you're going to make any kind of impact whatsoever, one thing you'll find is that the more that you get out and work with people, the more you understand where people are coming from, and the more you find yourself not agreeing with other people, but understanding. Agreeing and disagreeing is one thing. Understanding and not understanding is a different thing. When you understand a person, when you understand a person's lifestyle and where they're coming from, when you understand their side of the argument, as it were, when you understand that, you don't have to agree after you understand it. You could still disagree with their conclusion or what they're saying. That's fine. But if you understand where they're coming from, you can still come together on things that you're still like-minded on. You can still be friends. You can still sit down and have a meal together and it not be a problem. And then you can move toward solutions and finding answers to problems. When we all stand back and say, well, it's my way or the highway, nothing is going to get done. Not frickin' one thing in the world. Show me a situation in history where a nation, a corporation, a family stood divided, stood in opposition to their own self, internal fighting, and then prospered. Show me one freaking example. And you're not going to find it. Don't waste your time looking. There's not there. There's not a culture in history that had civil unrest and civil fighting that did not destroy itself. And that's where we're headed, because we can't find, we're worried about sometimes, I think it's the YouTube mindset, which is ironic because I'm on here, but anyway, it is the YouTube mindset. It's like, oh no, we're going to be famous. The percentage of people that think they're going to be famous is like 90% coming out of high school. They think they're going to be famous. Well, for what reason? For the purpose of being famous. Not for any reason. They're not going to be famous for doing good things. They're not going to be famous for changing the world. They're going to be famous because they're famous. And to what end? What good is that? So I think if we are focused on doing things that are going to change the world in a manner that makes those that are still here after we're gone remember us, it's going to take doing things that the average person is not willing to do. And that's what makes you memorable. Is because if everybody does it, and you're not going to remember that, you can drive past the same house 50 times. You're not going to know what the grass looks like because you drove past it 50 times. Let them scalp it bald. You'll see that in a second. I'm glad you guys don't know where I live, because you would totally understand why I just said that. So the last thing I want to touch on is humility, which it kind of does tie in a little bit with compassion, because there is the implication there that you don't have to. That you technically, to be humble is to bring yourself low. It is you're at this elevation by job position, status in society, whatever. And instead of staying there and getting all the perks that you would have there, you humble yourself, you bring yourself low to be on equal with someone else. Now, sometimes that happens, like socioeconomically. Sometimes it's a, intelligence thing. Sometimes, which I'm lacking clearly, but sometimes it is an ideology. And so you humble yourself in front of someone who's an idiot. You don't tell them they're an idiot, even though they're clearly an idiot. That is, in my view, part of humility. That is showing humility. That is restraining yourself from making someone look stupid. You're going to make them look stupid. It doesn't matter that it's wrong. It doesn't matter that someone thinks something that's wrong. If somebody, does it matter if somebody thinks the sky's purple? How does that change reality? But you're going to correct them? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to make an enemy. You're going to make an enemy. You're going to have someone in your life that you're interacting with, and a lot of times it's people you're interacting with on a regular basis, which blows my mind, where you pick a fight with somebody that you work with or whatever, especially as aggressive as I see it done on like social media and stuff like that. It's wow. Anyway, I'm like, my balls are big, they ain't that big. The change that, you know, in our lifestyle, if we're wanting to be memorable, is to, instead of taking advantage of opportunity where we are right. See, that's the thing, you're right. I'm not saying you're not right when you're telling someone that they're an idiot, because they are. But to what end? What good did it do? You made an enemy. You have other people around you that look at you differently now because, you know, you really mopped the floor with the dude. But does that, you know, do we really like people who do that? Is that really people that we like gravitate towards? That they spend their entire life, you know, decimating people's, you know, self-worth? Is that what we want to be around? I mean, you might. They make movies about it. The one that pops in my head is Mean Girls. And I think they were the bad guys in that movie, but I'm not sure. So it's been a long time. So as a wrap up, one of the things I want to leave with you, a challenge, I guess, for this video would be to be a memory for someone today. Find an opportunity to do something for someone else that they are going to remember. Farting in front of them, which would make them remember you, well, I don't know, that's pretty funny. So I think if somebody needed a good laugh, that would work. That would work. So, you know, don't limit yourself. So let's do better. And, you know, we hear that a lot. So here's some ideas. You know, I hear that, let's do better. Well, here's some things that we can do better, and it doesn't cost us anything. And I promise you that it will not only put a smile on that other person's face, but it'll put a smile on your face too. Because as the old saying goes, it really is better to give than receive. So, all right, guys, thanks for stopping in, and I will see you guys next week. Love you, baby. Bye.